I'm Dr. Kannan, a former employee of KIOST, which is Korean Institute of Ocean Science and Technology. I worked at the South Sea Research Institute in Koje. I went there as a brain pool program for a couple of years, but then I stayed back for 8 years because I liked Korea so much, and the Koreans liked me too. As a person from Tamil Nadu, India, I was so attracted to find that Korea is like a second home for me because of so much of cultural similarities and language-wise and in so many other ways. I found Korea as my second home. Then I started doing some research on that. I was in Gwangju Museum once, and a lady told me there was a lady from India who went all the way to Korea and got married to Kim Suro, and she established a confederation of merchant states called Kaya or Gaya or Karak. That attracted me really. I thought like maybe I should probe further into that. And that led me to the research which I'm going to present to you. And now I will move on to my slides. And as you could see here, my first contact with the Far East was in Japan. And I was invited as a Mambushu fellow to work with Professor Ryo Tatsukawa. On the very second day, he gave me a book by one Professor Susumu Ono, connecting Tamil, that is my mother tongue, the mother tongue of people in state of Tamil Nadu in India, the connection between Japanese and Tamil. I was very surprised. He was giving more than several hundred words from the ancient Sangam period of Tamil connecting with Japanese language. And that was the beginning of my connection with the Far East. I was one of the top 3 collaborators with Professor Ryo Tatsukawa, and I published so much in Matsuyama in Ehime University. In 3 years, I published something around 23 papers, which is still a record there. And then Professor Ono, he got 2 associates from the Jaffna University in Sri Lanka, Professor Shanmugadas and Professor Dr. Manonmani Shanmugadas. And they contributed so much to the research of Professor Ono, connecting the Sangam period, the most ancient Tamil literary period, with the so-called Yayoi clan or the Yayoi culture of Japan. And Dr. Manonmani has gone to such an extent that she translated the Yayoi poetry into Tamil verbatim with all the meters exactly the same. And she believes that we will understand the Yayoi poetry only if we understand the Sangam poetry in Tamil. That was an eye-opener for me. The story begins with a book called Samguk Yusa by a Buddhist monk called Ilyon. Ilyon was attempting to collect all the oral history of the Koreans, the folklore, and try to create a book of history, which is now considered as the Bible of Korea, where he mentions about a story that a lady from India went all the way to Korea because of a divine dream. And then in Korea, the clan leader, Kim Suro, he also had a vision that his future wife will come all the way from the West. And so he was waiting and she was traveling to Korea. And Professor Byung-mo Kim from the university, Hanyang University in Korea, he started doing some research on the connection between India and Korea based on the book I mentioned, Samgyuk Yusa. And what he proposed was he got the information from this book that she sailed all the way from India to Korea using a sailing ship, which has red, or we call it as kavi, saffron colored sails. And then she was carrying the twin fish symbol. He says, this is the symbol of my country. And she mentioned, it seems, that she comes from a land of Ayutha. The word Ayutha attracted him. He says, where is this place called Ayutha? And he started looking in the Indian map and he found Ayodhya. Ayodhya is very similar to Ayutthaya, and so he thought she hails from the place called Ayodhya in India. And then she moved from there to China in the Yangtze River or the Yellow River. And there was already an Indian settlement, and she went there, stayed there, and then there was a revolt, and then she left China to Korea, and there she established this confederation of merchant states called Kaya or Karak. The problem with Bing Myung, the theory is that he was giving a land route of her travel. Actually speaking, this lady who left from wherever in India might have taken a sea route, which is so very common in those days, that she has traveled through the so-called Silk Route on the sea. And she was named Ho Hwan Ok or Ho Hwang Ok in Korean. That, when it is written in Chinese, means Ho means permit or advocate, like a person with power. And then Hwang means color saffron, okay? And then oak means jade, okay? When I translate these things into Tamil, then I read something like Sembavaram, or you can call in short Chemba. So Sembavaram means that she has the character of a pavaram, which is a precious stone, a jade, and then the color saffron comes from Sihapu Sembavaram. But then she was also called Chemba, or then later others called her as Suri Ratna. And then when I returned back to India, okay, I gathered information, and then I brought down a bilingual book on the historical, archaeological, linguistic, cultural, and biological links between Korea and India, especially the Pandya kingdom in the southern part of India. And this has been one of the well-received books. This is available online. It's an e-book, free. And then later, I wrote a book called Koreavin Tamil Rani in Tamil, briefing my experience in Korea, how I derived this conclusion. And then most recently, I wrote almost a kind of a thesis on this entire connection with all the evidences possible to connect Korea with Tamil Nadu or the Pandya king. And fortunately, I got a translator in Chennai who could translate my previous book, Koreavin Tamil Rani, into Hangul, into the Korean language. And this is, for the first time ever, a translation from Tamil, which I think is connected to Korean language. So she translated from Tamil to Hangul directly. This is the first time. And then most recently, I brought a Tamil version of that book called Koreavin Tamil, or Koreavil Tamil Suvadugal. Most interestingly, after I named her as Sembavaram, okay, I met Professor Sutomu Kambe. He's an ex-professor from Tokyo University, and he believed in my theory, and he says, he also connected me to the first slide, which I mentioned about Professor Ono. He said the connection is through the Yayoi people, okay? And then he helped me in actually reading the ancient Chinese scripts, because in the present world, it's only the Japanese who could read the ancient Chinese. Even the Chinese can't read it because after Cultural Revolution, the current Chinese is so much simplified, whereas the ancient Chinese, only Japanese can read it and understand it. And so he read it something like this: Hwang Oak, what the Koreans call the name of that lady, okay, is very similar to a word called Hanyu. The Hwang Oak is a Korean pronunciation of the Chinese letters, but whereas pinyin, the Chinese people call it as, instead of oak, they call it as yu. And so Hwang Oak is pronounced in Chinese as Hwang Yu. The Hwang Yu is very similar to the word Pandya. So he suggested to me that this girl arrived there and she just simply said, I come from the land of Pandya with twin fish. Okay? And this reference actually is so ancient that that is somewhere between 87 to 141 BCE, before Christ. The people were calling the Pandya kingdom as Hanyu. Okay? And then later, when I was giving talks in Tamil Nadu, I realized her name could have been Pandi Meenal. Pandi Meenal is a very common name in and around Madurai, and it has two components. One is Pandi is the kingdom of Pandya. Meenal means the twin fish. Okay? So she simply said she is from Pandya kingdom with twin fish, and so she could be named Pandi Meenal. And another interesting factor is that in Korea, the national symbol of Korea is yin-yang. Okay? When I moved around in Tamil Nadu in search of the connection, I found in many, many temples in Tamil Nadu, the twin fish is represented as yin-yang. That is fascinating. This twin fish, you see, when they are put this way, then it becomes actually what do you call the yin-yang symbol of Korea. So the national symbol of Korea could have been derived from this twin fish from this lady from Tamil Nadu, or the Pandi Meenal. And why do we consider Tamil Nadu as a possible place of origin of this lady? Because in the entire India, it is only in the south, in the region of Pandya dynasty, they've been traveling, they're maritime travelers all the time, okay, because it is surrounded by sea, all the three sides of the land, and so they could travel very easily. The earliest record of travel is in 545 BCE, before Christ, okay, that people from the Chola kingdom traveling to Ceylon, the nearby country called Sri Lanka, okay. And then there were also motifs from the first CE, potsherd collected in a place called Arakankulam, which is in the south portion of Pandya kingdom. And then we also had, very interestingly, the symbol of a ship in a coin collected somewhere in Thailand, okay, showing that people have been traveling using ship. So maritime trade has been a pivotal aspect of the Pandya kings. And you see such a similar ships which they used in Borobudur in Indonesia. And this is most recent, like in the 15th century from the Dutch people. And then, very interestingly, how far the Tamils could go. And there was a bell found in New Zealand, and with Tamil inscription saying that this is a ship bell belonging to a person from Tamil Nadu. So that proves that the Tamils have been traveling all the way up to New Zealand, to the Far East, okay, from the land of Tamil Nadu. And most interestingly, when I visited the Gimhe tomb, where the physical remains of this queen was there, I found a symbol called, we call it as Trishul, and where this Trishul might have come. And then I found in a stone inscription in Tamil Nadu a very similar structure. And also in the temples of Tamil Nadu, you see the ships going around. I'll come to that again later. And who are these people who are traveling? The Tamil kingdoms have so many different trade guild, okay, called Sattu in Tamil, okay. For example, Thisai Ayirathu Ainutruvar, 500 people collected together, traveling all the way east and west, okay, for trade. And Ainutruvar, again a 500 people, and Manigramathar. Anju Annathar is an interesting combination of people of 5 races, okay, like the Arabs, the Jews, the Tamils, the Chinese, and the rest of Asia, okay. And Valanjiyar, Sitrameli Periyanadu, Attigosathar, Pannirandar, 24 Manayar, Nana Desigal. So these are the many different kinds of trade guild which is moving around. They have their own army to protect themselves during this trade. And that shows very clearly that the Tamil people have been moving around the world, okay. And this is the stone inscription showing that each trade guild had a different symbol. And what I saw in Gimhe, in the part of Karak, is this symbol, main symbol of one of those trade guilds. And next, what I got interested in Korea was when I visited another Gwangju University. It's called KIST. One of the students told me that I was waiting for the bus. I have about something around 30 to 1 hour. And he says, during this time you can learn Korean, Hangul. He says, in 1 hour can you learn that Hangul? He says, very easy, sir. This is very simple. And when he explained to me, then it struck me why it is so simple is because of a structure called combining vowel and consonant together to form a letter. For example, this is in Tamil, okay? We say ip, we call it as uyirmei, meiyeluthu, and then uyireluthu plus meiyeluthu combination, we get uyirmei called pa. This is very similar in Korean. What you see here is, for example, here k plus ka. Okay, so this combination of vowel and consonant is exactly same between Hangul and the Tamil. Okay, not only that, even the letters, the Tamil letters are very similar to the Hangul. For example, here the word a in Korean and that of a in Tamil are very similar, and that could be split easily like that. Okay, and then, for example, im plus a ma, Korean im plus a ma. Okay, and if you look at the ma, okay, here the ma, Tamil ma and the Korean ma, very similar. The Tamil pa and the Korean pa is very similar. The Tamil la is like this, but it is inverted in Korean. So even the alphabets are very, very similar between Korean and Tamil. And most interestingly, while I was in Korea, there are 2 professors from Seoul National University and the Hallym University confirmed that the DNA found in this tomb in Gimhe could be traced back to East Asian ethnic groups like Indian, Malaysian, or Thai. Okay, so that was a fascinating research, and we need to do more research on this aspect, connecting the genetic similarities between the Koreans and the Tamils. This was the first evidence to show that. And if you look at it very carefully, how the Buddhism spread all over the world, of course the main route is through China, the land route, okay, but then there was also sea route, which was also extremely popular. For example, from Tamil Nadu, you come to Sri Lanka. From Sri Lanka, you come to Malaysia. From Malaysia, you come to Indonesia, which is called Java. From Java, you go to China, okay, and Shaolin and all those places. From there, then from China, you come to Korea and Japan. This route was very much in vogue when this lady left Tamil Nadu. But to understand actually, is it really possible that a girl from all the way from Tamil Nadu to go to Korea, so far away, to understand that, we need to see the real connection between Tamil Nadu and the neighboring countries of the Southeast Asia. For example, here is the connection between Tamil Nadu and Burma, okay, or Myanmar. And you see inscriptions stating very clearly that the Nana Desigal, one of those trade guilds, have constructed a temple in Myanmar, okay, in 4th century AD. Okay. Then there are many, many cultural identifications between Vishnu is called Bhaktano in Burmese, okay, and there are so many other cultural similarities between, and there are so many monuments in Myanmar indicating connection between India and Myanmar, okay. Then comes Malaysia. The state of Kedah, okay, is called Karagam in Tamil, and this has been connected with Tamil Nadu for so long, and this is about 1,200 years of history, and that has been recorded in Kedah in Pujang Valley. If you visit Pujang Valley, you will see the Pallava inscriptions of Tamil Nadu there, okay. And then Indonesia. Even most recently, a 1,000-year-old statue of Ganesha was excavated from Indonesia, okay. And the trade connection between Java and Tamil Nadu has been very well established. And then comes Thailand, okay. Most interestingly, the kings of Thailand, they named themselves as Rama. Rama, you know, the epic hero of India, and they call Rama 1, Rama 2 like this, okay. And also, when you look at it, they have names like, his name was Bhumipal Atulyadej, okay. He was the 9th Rama of Thailand. And in the 17th century, there is the so-called Ramayana was called Ramakirti, was written in Thai language, okay. And also the martial arts of Thailand is based on the characters mentioned in Sri Ramayana in India. And then if you go further into Thailand, we have some very, very interesting inscriptions. This is written in Tamil Brahmi, a very, very ancient Tamil script. It's called Perumpattan Kal. That means he's a goldsmith. And a goldsmith has left a stone where he used to test the quality of the gold, and he left it there. As well as this belongs to the 1st century AD. And then, as I told you, there are also coins collected from a Kwan Lag part in Thailand, okay, showing the ship as well as the other symbols of Tamil kings. Then come to Cambodia. Cambodia has the biggest ever built a temple for Vishnu, okay, which is called Angkor Wat, okay. And when I was waiting for my flight, I could read this script in the airport. It says Pallava very easily, okay. So this script is called Pallava Grantha, okay. And the entire Khmer language has been written by a script developed by a king called Nandivarma and others in Tamil Nadu, and they are still using that. And you see the Indian characters like Vishnu and Shiva together, and Garuda, and then you call Vasuki the snake. All those things you see in Cambodia wherever you go, okay. And this is another epic battle. I mean, it's called Churning the Sea of Tirupparkadal, and that has been depicted here. And then you have the statue of Narasimha Avatar, as well as the Angkor Wat has the non-Mugan or Brahma. And the entire Mahabharata has been actually inscripted there in the Angkor Wat temple. And here is the story of Ramayana in the ancient paintings. And there is strong connection between the Cambodians or the Cambodia and Tamil Nadu, okay. The names of those kings were also very much like the Tamil kings, like Jayavarman, Indravarman, Harshavarman, like this, okay. And there is actually, in history, there was a guy from Cambodia called Nandivarman, who was taken all the way from Cambodia to the Pallava dynasty to rule Tamil Nadu, okay. Nandivarman ruled between 731 to 897 in Tamil Nadu. The connection was so strong. And also, if you look at the names, like they call themselves as Devaraja Brahmanargal and Indrapuram, Hariharalaya, Amaranthapuram, Mahendrapuram, all those things are in Cambodia, which are very much Tamil names. And then, of course, you have the Vietnam, and in Vietnam also has Hindu connections. And what you see in the various cities of Vietnam, you see the Chamba kings there. And there was actually an excavator archaeological finding in Vietnam, okay, which is 2,000 years old. The curries, we call it as ammi in Tamil, okay, where you actually churn the different spices, okay. And this was found in Vietnam, indicating the trade route between Tamil Nadu and as far as Vietnam. And Korea is not that far away from Vietnam. And then, of course, China. China and Tamil Nadu has such a long trading relationship that one of the kings from the Pallava, called Bodhidharma, left Pallava kingdom and went to China to establish the so-called Zen Buddhism, okay? And he was from Kanchipuram, a place in Tamil Nadu. He is called as Bodhidharma in Tamil. He was called Damo in Chinese, and he was called Talma in Korean, and Daruma in Japanese. And Professor Tsutomu Kambe, the University of Kyoto or Tokyo, has given a trade map, like how he could have traveled to India from China. Okay, right. And so in China, there is a bilingual stone inscription, both in Chinese as well as in Tamil, that one of the trade guilds has constructed a Shiva temple in China in the 13th century, in the period of Kublai Khan. And you found coins there. For example, in Mamallapuram in Tamil Nadu, you find Chinese coins, okay, and which belongs to 255 BCE, that ancient, okay. And the similar coins were found in Bali in Indonesia, connecting the trade. And another very interesting thing is, this connection is not recent. I'm already given you a period of before Christ, but even before that, actually, there are links. We call this as dolmens, okay. The dolmens were found in Ireland, Jordan, in Tamil Nadu, and in Korea. Very similar, okay. We call it as Kaltittai in Tamil, okay. You find these structures all the way from Ireland to Jordan so this is actually megalithic period. In a very similar world, the burial urn, okay, we call it as Mudumakkal Thari in Tamil, all the way from Romania to Adichanallur in Tamil Nadu to the Korean burial urns. This is in Vietnam. And this is in Japan. You see the connections, okay? This is the Yayoi period, people using the very similar burial customs, okay, as you see in Tamil Nadu. And then coming back to Kyun Ho Hwan Oak, you look at her crown here, that is very similar to a thing called Nadukal in Tamil Nadu, which is very similar structure like what you can see on her crown, okay? And that has also a connection, Hindu connection. That was also identified in Indus Valley civilization. And this is also considered as what you call Varaha Avadar in Tamil. So, to conclude, I would say that there is connection between Tamil Nadu and Korea, going back all the way to before Christ period, okay, all the way in BCE. And we need more research to find more evidences to prove this, but at least now it is highly, highly probable that the lady who left India was definitely from the kingdom of Pandya in Tamil Nadu. Thank you very much.